In a land where rivers sparkle like sapphires and mountains reach for the fluffy clouds, lived a tiny chef named Pip. Pip wasn't your ordinary chef. He wasn't after fancy cuts of meat or expensive spices. Pip loved to cook with magic. His kitchen wasn't filled with pots and pans, but with bubbling cauldrons and whispering tea kettles. His ingredients, the fantastical bounty of the magical land. One sunny morning, Pip decided to create a soup unlike any other. He wanted a soup so grand, so flavorful, it would make taste buds sing. He grabbed his magical spoon and skipped out his door. First, he needed some grains. He skipped through fields of golden wheat taller than him, their heads swaying like a sea of sunshine. Pip tickled the stalks with his spoon, and with a giggle, plump kernels of wheat tumbled into his basket. Next, he needed some legumes. He ventured into a whimsical forest where playful pea pods dangled from rainbow-colored vines. Pip sang a silly song, and the pea pods popped open, revealing plump, juicy peas that rolled into his basket with a happy clatter. For some meat, Pip didn't need cows or chickens. He tiptoed to a crystal-clear lake where shimmering fish with scales like jewels darted around. Pip dipped his spoon in the water, and with a swish, a plump, friendly fish landed in his basket, winking with its glittery eye. Pip skipped through meadows dotted with vibrant flowers, each holding a surprise. He plucked a fluffy dandelion for a dandelion puff because every soup needs a little bit of whimsy. And with a flick of his spoon, a hazelnut bush showered him with plump, round nuts. Don't forget the eggs. Pip peeked under a mama dragonfly's leaf umbrella and found a nest of shimmering, pearlescent eggs, perfect for his soup. For herbs and spices, Pip visited a grumpy gnome guarding a patch of bubbling mud. The gnome grumbled and muttered about pesky chefs and their magical ways, but Pip, with his sunshine smile and a promise of a delicious spoonful of soup, convinced the gnome to share a sprinkle of his most magical herbs and a pinch of the hottest, merriest spice. Back in his kitchen, Pip tossed the ingredients into his cauldron. The wheat danced with the peas, the fish wiggled his tail of course, very politely, and the dandelion puff bobbed merrily. Pip chanted a silly soup song, his spoon stirring the magical concoction. The cauldron bubbled and swirled, filling the kitchen with the most incredible aroma, a symphony of sweetness, spice, and everything nice. For herbs and spices, Pip visited a grumpy gnome guarding a patch of bubbling mud. The gnome grumbled and muttered about pesky chefs and their magical ways, but Pip, with his sunshine smile and a promise of a delicious spoonful of soup, convinced the gnome to share a sprinkle of his most magical herbs and a pinch of the hottest, merriest spice. Finally, the soup was ready. Pip poured it into a giant seashell bowl, and the colors shimmered like a rainbow. He took a sip, his eyes widening in delight. It was perfect. A burst of flavors danced on his tongue, the sweetness of the dandelion puff, the earthiness of the peas, the savory magic of the fish, and a touch of the gnome's grumpy spice that made everything even more exciting. Pip knew he couldn't keep this magical soup to himself. He set out, carrying his seashell bowl, offering spoonfuls to everyone he met. A grumpy troll, after a sip, found himself smiling. A family of pixies giggled with each mouthful. Even the grumpy gnome, after a hesitant taste, had to admit it was the most delicious soup he'd ever grumbled about. Pip's magical soup became legendary. It was a reminder that the most extraordinary things can be created with a little bit of magic, a sprinkle of kindness, and a whole lot of fun ingredients.